Okay. Let's get this party started. How's everybody doing? If you want me to look at anything, let me know in the chat. Hello on Twitter and the YouTubes. We will look at some charts. What's up, everybody? Overall, not much changing here week over week. We're still just chopping around across the board. All the cool kids are here. Go Jogan. What's up? Polo. Wahul. JMag. Worm, thanks for the donut. Ovi. I didn't even have to say anything, and he's giving me transaction fees for moving coins around. Look at him. What a guy. Stonehenge UK. I want to go before they tear it down. Somebody's going to tear it down, you know? So where to begin, where to start? The big thing, obviously, now is the 4-year cycle bros. We need evidence to say that the 4-year cycle isn't a thing anymore if it isn't, in fact, a thing anymore. Until proven otherwise, that's where people's heads are at, rightfully or wrongfully. We're still in the wheelhouse of previous tops, 1050, 1060, 1070 days from the bottom. Until we get, if we see a new higher high at this point, then I think it's fair to consider the fact that the 4-year cycle may be over. But ultimately, it's going to take months for a majority of people to be on board with that, if that is the case. I'm not on that train yet to myself, just to be clear. We'll see what we get. You can say whatever you want. Halvings didn't matter, liquidity doesn't matter, ISM doesn't matter, whatever, right? You can say whatever you want, but that's the mind of the market is, to me, very much in the camp of 4-year cycle. And evidence for that is just what we're seeing on chain with people move coins around, like 2014 coins, 2009 coins, Chinese holders, miners, like all sorts of people moving coins around. Lots of people getting impatient. Thank you, Pratik. That's a few transactions. That dono will cover a few transactions. Thank you, my man. So that's the first thing that everybody's looking at. Whether or not you care about it or not, whether or not Ben Cowan thinks it or not, whether or not I don't know who else is a guy that people listen to. I don't know. Whoever, right? It's easier to say it's not for a 4-year cycle when you have evidence to do so, but based on coin movements, that's clearly where the whales OG holders' heads are at. If we look at realized cap hodl waves, which are the percentage of the network that has moved in the past X time period, so in aggregate, this is 50% of the network that has moved in 6 months. Historically, at the tops, we see like 90% of the network moving. Now, none of these, to be fair, none of these metrics from the top have, or to pick out the tops, have really triggered yet, right? So the question people are also asking is like, okay, do these still work? Does any of this stuff matter? I'm trying to get the list here from CoinDesk. I'm not gonna be able to pull it. It's some like weird, not CoinDesk, CoinGlass, something. There's like a list of like 40 indicators, right? None of them are screaming like sell, right? We're not there yet. We've not seen this blow off top. We've not seen crazy FOMO rallies in BTC, let alone alts. So if for whatever reason we see that into 2026, then it's going to be easier to say, okay, yeah, 4-year cycles, they're probably done. I've said this for a while. I hope that's the case. I just don't believe that to be the case yet. And again, you could say it's different this time. We got ETFs, we got institutional, right? That's fine. We have yet to see evidence that we are able to make a high after a 4-year cycle has completed, right? That's the only thing. So none of these metrics look bad, as in too hot, bull market peak signals. Thank you, Harry Pierce. bull market. Let me just pull up the list because it's a good list. It's a healthy list. Bull market peak. There we go. It's a healthy list. You got all the hits here. All the hits. Price cycle top, Puel, Rainbow, 2-year MA multiplier, a favorite of yours truly. Dominance, alt season, yada, yada, yada. MicroStrategy's average Bitcoin cost. That's interesting. Yeah, so none of these are screaming, right? They just aren't. And you can make up a list yourself, but what we've seen historically is not what we're seeing now for a top. So you've got that, and then this time it's different camp people saying, you know, it's over, right? We don't have evidence for that other than the cycle stuff. So it's like this push-pull situation where there isn't any one thing that's screaming sell other than just a lot of people are selling, right? ETFs have been buying clearly, but you've got a lot of people selling. Still waiting on the BTC gold lead lag, catch up correlation, call it whatever you want, measure it from whatever time period you want. It would be unusual if BTC didn't respond to that based on what we've seen historically. But yeah, all these metrics look okay. They look fine, you know? Nothing here is like crazy overbought. Just, it's fine. There's really nothing to say. I mean, like, everything looks fine. It's just the duration from the bottom. That's the issue. TQQQ. Just reading chat. Catching up. We got dark mode on Restream today. I like that. You can't see it. I can, but... Popular narratives captured by Wall Street. I mean, do new Bitcoin buyers... What's up, white paper, by the way? Do new Bitcoin buyers even care about the 4-year cycle? I would think not. I would think the institutional folks could care less, right? So you can have this mental exercise with yourself and say, there's reasons why it shouldn't matter, but ultimately price pays. So until price figures it out, like, okay, if the 4-year cycle doesn't matter, why are we at 110 in October, right? Answer me that. So until BTC can hold momentum, alts can't do well, right? And if BTC isn't gaining momentum relative to trad markets, aka Chad markets right now, then that's just more reasons for people not to buy Bitcoin, you know? I've said this before, and a lot of times you need those momentum buyers, the fast money to come in to like get us out of here, and then the institutional money follows. That's my opinion. Other people would say it's the other way around. Institutional money is buying here as people are selling, and then the fast money is going to come in and get us out of 126. But there's no bullish TA here. Like, we can go to low time frames. There's an inverted head and shoulders, fine. But trend metrics are flat to neutral to bearish. You wouldn't call this bullish. If we go to, like, pick whatever you want. 1050 cross, bearish. 5200, death cross coming up. And again, you're going to hear people say, oh man, the death cross, it's so bullish. The death cross is so bullish. I don't know about that. I don't think I want to see a death cross. Call me crazy, but I don't want a death cross 1,000 days from the bottom. I'd just rather not, I'd rather not deal with that. What we've seen so far is that the death crosses have been the bottom for the cycle. Except, if the cycle's actually over, then that's not going to bounce. So I'd rather not deal with that personally. But that's also there. You've got the alligator, another set of moving averages. There's nothing bullish there. The cloud, of course. Nothing bullish there. So as we sit we're sort of just in limbo waiting for something to happen. And if you look at this on like, I don't know, 2 hour, 1 hour, every high that we've had since 1010 has just been sold off, sold off, sold off, sold off. We haven't been able to hold on to anything. So until that changes, doesn't feel great. Again, it's different. If it's day 200, if it's day 100, if we're at 10K, it's different than being up here, like floundering around, just because we have a lot to give back. Definitely have a lot to give back. Real altcoin, probably more coin. So many people interchange. That's why I just trade the chart, you know? If there's a reason to be longer than I already am, I'm there. I'm not selling cold storage until we get significantly higher. And any spot trading stuff is just sort of kind of copium hopium right now for me, because again, what do you have here? Has anybody got anything for me? I haven't seen anything that's bullish necessarily for BTC. TA wise, you know, I guess we could say maybe this would be the most bullish, in that we are at a pitchfork support that has held since 2024, since the ETFs launched. This has basically been the level here, or slightly lower, where we've bottomed. I can respect that. You've got, you know, the 50-week moving average down here. Certainly don't want to get below that. But is there, to me, is like there a setup here? Is there anything screaming at you? I don't see it. I don't see it. How much my net worth? Corn farmer, he's asking me a full, what is this, the IRS all of a sudden? He wants a full colonoscopy in my cold storage. I don't know, it's probably higher than 50-50. Trading versus cold. 90 more days of chop. Could you imagine? 90 more days. I mean, there's a world where literally nothing matters and we just hold this and go on our merry way, and whenever we do and break from 126, that would give us a measured move of like 140, 150. Sure, but it's a lot easier to call that when we're near the top versus whatever the hell this is. The AI cloud also doesn't give you any help here on the bullish side. There is, I guess, like on the 4 hour, I don't know how tradable this is. I guess if you're like eager to do something as a trade idea, as a setup, you could draw yourself a diagonal line in there. You know, something like this. You could say, well, maybe there's something to do if we can finally make a higher high. But the problem with that is you're like waiting for confirmation so long that you're kind of giving up a little bit of the move, which is probably okay. And the other part of this is everything's been sold off like quickly. You know, it's like we didn't even get a chance to live at 112 since mid-October, right? Since 10/15, since we broke down. So, you know, if whoever's selling can let us live above 111, 112, it's just, you know, depends on who you are, what you want to do. But that would be, as gross as this looks, I don't know, something like this. That would be a setup. How tradable it is based on the current market conditions, I don't know, but it is a setup. It is a setup. Four years is the limit because that's what people have seen who have been here and have lived it since 2010, 2013. And at this point, they'd rather spend it and do something with their life, right? Not everybody's going to hold this stuff forever, which is fine. But, you know, no matter who you are, you're 10 years into it. You're like, okay, you know, it's time to spend some money and live my life, right? Could I imagine how ballistic alts will go if we go to 150? I mean, maybe alts figure it out, but they haven't so far. Alts really haven't done much. So for BTC, that's all I see. I see two things. I see the fact that we're below the cloud, which is not great, but on higher time frames, this is a multi-month megaphone, which is lovely to sit through. Previously, not to be outdone by the multi-month inverted head and shoulders that looked great, felt great, smelled great. It, you know, just had that inverted head and shoulders feel, right? Broke out, new all-time high, boom. Anyway, so we soldier on to the next pattern, which I wouldn't call a megaphone bearish or bullish. I think it's neutral. I think if you look it up, it'll probably say bullish, but I don't really see anything here until we're back above 115, 116. The other question is, let's say you believe in the megaphone. Let's say you don't believe in 4-year cycles, but you believe in the megaphone. Where do you start to like do anything actionable here? For me, I get excited at here. So I like adding length, leverage, whatever you want to think of it as, just a little bit, just enough to feel it, you know, just a little bit as it starts to break up. It could take another 3 months and fail, right? You got to keep that in mind. So that's not for everybody. Really depends on what you're sitting on now. Like if I was flat in cash 100%, I would definitely be adding at 114, 115. But by the time we get like anywhere sniffing 125, that's when I get really excited, and I'm probably going to get disappointed again, but whatever. But that's such is life trading the megaphones. It's not fun. It's not fun. The last one we had was like this thing here. If anybody remembers this. So ETFs launched. We had the inverted head and shoulders, the GBTC stuff unloaded on us. We get a bullish TK recross, but it was like this thing, right? What really sold this for me was consolidation literally at the 126K equivalent, which would be 50K back then. But before this got to that point, the cloud was like, yes, love it, go long, right? So we're not there yet for the current stuff, you know? But this is the last one I can remember into early 2024 that played out to the top side. Tic Tac, you missed everything, all the good stuff. I usually save it for the first 5 minutes. The more things change, yeah. If there's an asteroid and it hits Earth 5 days from now, what will the color of the sun be? No, I don't know. Alts are waiting for BTC. So if BTC looks like nothing, neutral, zen, then alts aren't going to do so hot. Alts are not going to love that. The moment this starts to push 115, alts are going to like that more. But in what order, in what percentage, that's tough. That's tough to answer. One indicator with the cloud? Probably just chart patterns, honestly. So anyway, that's BTC. You got a low time frame setup. that for most people, they're probably not going to care about. What would the upside of that be? I mean, if it can take us to the promised land at 124, it doesn't need to happen quickly. It probably won't. It'll probably be misery. You know, I could see something like this. It's just like, just the worst, right? You know, just the worst imaginable. Something like that. But sure, it's there. I just hope it can hold. I think ETH actually, because it's not as bearish on the daily, it's an easier trade. I don't know if it's a better trade now, but it's an easier trade later. Just because it's going to be obvious if this gets above 42, 43, 47, 48. I think those are the actionable levels in the near term. Because this also has, if I can find a chart that I drew on, this has a bunch of high time frame ascending triangle stuff. It's got another descending broadening wedge. It's just kind of waiting. You know, it's got wedges inside of wedges all at this point. But ultimately, the actionable level to me is at the high. And I think you can start to cheat this at like 42, 43. But is there anything to do here? I don't think so. Based on what? Based on what? I got nothing. Just chopping around. And that maybe is the best case scenario because you just need time. You just need time surviving before this stuff can play out. But I have nothing. I have nothing on high time frames here, low time frames here. I got nothing. Thoughts on Hyperliquid? I hope it goes to zero. Not just saying that, but I never like any narratives historically. I think mainly because it sucks in a lot of people and you get dumped on by VCs, early backers, etc. This is retail getting dumped on. Some of the stuff does well for a period of time. You know, TIA, right? TIA is the classic example. That people were just so bullish on this. Just so bullish on this for months. Of course, it does well. Some of the stuff does well initially, and then, you know, now we're 2 years into misery, right? So you just have to have a personal stop loss level for yourself if you're holding on to this stuff for any long period of time. It is also below the cloud on the daily. It also has inverted head and shoulders potential on low time frames. But is there anything here that gives me confidence of anything? No. I would rather just trade ETH. I'd rather trade BTC. I got nothing for you here. Someone was asking about Link. All of a sudden I'm the grouch. All of a sudden, someone was asking about Link. You best hope. Let's go to a different chart so I can draw. You best hope that this is not a bear flag and that it pulls up. Because, you know, if the Link drops any more, it's not going to look any prettier on the chart. So as you go down the list for alts, again, I have nothing to say. There's nothing here. This needs time to recover. It needs time to find momentum again. I don't know, right? I got nothing. Yes, I know. Hyperliquid is different. It's perfect. It's burning fees. It's got revenue. It's got ADL. It's got whatever it's got. Love it. This, if you were trading this, which a lot of people tried, you know, it's not fun trading that. It went up. I don't know if it's fun. The next trade for me anywhere is always this. What is the equivalent of that for a Hyperliquid? That is 45 in November. Sign me up. Here, I'll put an alert. Sign me the hell up. Here, nothing. I got nothing. You can talk to me about fundamentals all you want, but I'm not a fundamental trader. So yeah, ETH, I got nothing. You could say, you know what, Josh? ETH is going to 10K. Sure, right? You could be right. I don't know. But right now, here today, it needs to pull up for me to care. Sorry. Same thing with Solana. Needs to pull up. That may happen today. It may happen at the moment we close this stream. But right now, what is there to do here? I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't know. I have no bright ideas. Ripple, and again, like pretty much any alt that we go down this list, they're all going to look the same. They're all going to kind of look like this. They were sort of down chopping, setting up for a breakout, and down she went. So it is a question of how much more volatility do you want? What do you want to sit through? This is probably the best case for an inverted head and shoulders of anything we've looked at so far. Like it's trying. It's clearly trying. Is this waiting for BTC to do something? Probably. But some of these alts may move without BTC. I just doubt it, you know? I'll set an alert for 254. Boom. High time frames, it is just in no man's land. Absolute no man's land. So we'll click down the list here. Let me just take a look if there's anything. Say HBAR, LTC high time frames, 125. Low time frames, I got nothing. Link we looked at. Algo, ENA. You know, it's just like you're kind of grasping at straws looking at lower time frames. ETC, BNB. I like it a lot better when it's breaking out versus when it's this late. That's the problem. Aave, Hype, AVAX, ADA, ARB, OP. All these charts look the same. IMX, Near, Wormhole, Apt, DYDX, Dot, Ondo, Flow, GRT. Someone was asking about. I got nothing to say. INJ, Sui, Pith, Ton, Filecoin, ICP. They all look the same. They all look the same. Ocean is trying to pull up. It's had some really high volatility days. Tia, Rune, you know, there's nothing safe here. All these charts look exactly the same. What's up, Golshi? 1 hour. What do you want, Jake? What do you want out of a 1 hour BTC chart? I'm just curious. Like, this has been miserable chop. You're in a few things on the BTC chart. You're in a multi-month pattern that has yet to play out. You're in like a 4 to 6 month pattern that has yet to play out. And you're just in general chop. So if you're in momentumless nonsense, which is what it feels like we're in, where you've got a couple people throwing money at this, moving the prices around, that is very hard to trade. That is very hard to trade. Yes, we know. Zcash looks amazing, guys. Check out the Zcash. Zcash. I'd rather trade BNB personally, but we'll take a look. Take a look. What do we got? Anything here? I like that it's consolidating. I'll give you that at the highs. I'm not going to touch this, but this is what you'd want BNB to look like versus the double top. You always want this like trying to shove itself higher, right? Duh, you know, but this doesn't look like it's going to go against you, is the point. Kind of reminds me of like the backed chart, maybe less so, but you just want anything that's had like crazy days, you want it to consolidate and just prove itself. Like here, it tried to consolidate here and then gave it all back. All right. So what this needs to not do here is give it all back. That's what you don't want to see. That's what you absolutely don't want to see. It needs to consolidate for a moment. So I feel the same about Zcash. Just reading chat. We got anything? Any big brain ideas? Sully, someone's asking on Twitter about options versus spot. I'm always more comfortable giving more back on spot, obviously, than options, where those can go to zero on you pretty quick. So generally, you want to save like your A+ setups for options, in my opinion. Like gold, for example, what I should have done instead of just buying a bunch on margin, I should have opened some options on that down here. You know, instead of buying as much spot and UGL as I did, you could also like layer that, feather in some options or whatever. But this to me was a very high conviction setup, multi-month for gold. Ascending triangle. It did not really have a diagonal level you're looking at, which is another key thing. Like the entire world is looking at one price level. They're looking at 320 in this case, 318, whatever it was. With BTC here, it's like, is it 124? Is it 125? Maybe it's 126. So it's harder for me to justify options unless you're like super sure. If you're super sure, you're seeing other reasons why price goes higher. So yeah, but I rarely play the option stuff. Rarely, mainly because I just haven't done well with options. Like I'll either be correct directionally but wrong on time, or I'll be super correct and then give it all back, which is what happened on this go run with the BTC options I had. Anyway, just is what it is. Definitely a learning experience, but for gold's still consolidating, and this is another thing, just like Zcash and backed, like best thing gold could do here is just do nothing for a couple months. Just absorb whatever selling is coming its way. It's just like nothingness here. There's nothing, you know, I wouldn't buy it up here personally. I like buys where I always do, which is at the daily Kijun. But this could be anything at this point, right? It could be double top. It could be head and shoulders. It could, like, who knows, right? We're way too early. But what this is not is some like crazy momentum breakout waiting to happen on gold. So let all the losers who were late buy up here, get trampled, and just wait it out, right? Just got to wait it out. I wouldn't expect alt relief until BTC does anything. So I don't care what the Fed's doing. I don't care what ISM is looking at, saying. I don't care what liquidity is saying. Until BTC moves higher, alts will do nothing. Alts will do nothing. They just won't. So if you care about alts at all, you want bullish BTC. But it's good for BTC that at this point, gold is now broken out hugely and is sideways. That's good. That's what we want to see. That gives me confidence that we're going to see a move for BTC. It's just probabilities. Like you're stacking up what events have happened before, what could happen in the future. Give that a percent. What do you think? What are the odds? I think we are seeing gold people rotating. Certainly the crypto people who had who had gold are rotating in. But yeah, that's all I got on gold. Again, nothing to do, right? Like this is why when you see something coil like this for months, First of all, you have to be watching it, but you also have to have the conviction to take a stab, right? Somewhere. Take a stab. What was the key here? It was 3/4 complete. You had the cloud on your side. You had a clear level. Boom. Like we can say this was debasement fears fueled. Fine, but this is one of the cleanest setups you're going to see on anything. So that really, really helped from a technical perspective. No, I don't pay any attention to Polymarket at all. People asking me about some crypto equities. Let's take a look at Coin. Coin, I tried on options over here. I closed it here. Would I really want to get back in this here? Maybe not on the options side, personally, but on the spot side, maybe. It's again tough because you've got this huge, whatever this is, call it whatever you want, range. I don't know. You've got that. You've got this multi-year, and maybe it's a cup and handle. I don't know. Again, is this clear? Not really. The cloud kind of likes it. It's good that it held its levels. It's good that it didn't break 300. It's just kind of messy, you know. Like this stuff is way different than it was back here. And I didn't even know that they were getting in the S&P. I had no clue that they were even in the running. Okay, it's just back here you had a very obvious pattern with good news. Reconsolidated, whatever. Your upside is kind of like here, right? Like that's probably where you're going to find resistance, barring some event for Coin. Galaxy. Also one that wasn't necessarily easy to trade just because it has been choppy. I don't like fresh positions this deep into a breakout. Like we've been talking about this, I think, every week for the past like 3 months. People have been asking me about this, and we've been talking about this. So at this point, it's like, I don't know. I don't have any great ideas here. If you think you can go to 70, you love it. But if I'm holding this, I don't care. I don't think this is like a sell here. It's just I don't think it's a fresh position here. Nwanda, he showed up 40 minutes in with his alpha. Let's see what he's got. But yeah, Galaxy. I think it's a hold, to be clear, but I don't think it's like a fresh position buy. Not for me. We'll go through the miners real quick. A lot of people asking about miners. IREN has held its daily Kijin, which is really, really good if you're bullish. Where's the fractal thing here? The new fractal level is like 48 on the daily. So that's good. That's a new trailing stop level. New trailing stop loss level. If you look at since the breakout in August, you've had a level here, 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 here. So it keeps moving up on you, and that's what you want to see. Even though, yeah, you've given back a little bit from 75, you know, this is just trying to protect you from the downside. So that's great for IREN. Bitfarms also has a new trailing stop loss level all the way up here at the daily Kijun. You could have, I didn't, but you could have bought this. It's always a risk day of, especially with something super volatile like this. What you don't want to see is like this Christmas tree head and shoulder thing. If you get that, you know, hopefully you get the hell out of Dodge at like 380, but you certainly don't want that going into 2026. Buy, sell, or hold. I'm still holding it personally. I don't have any issues, but I'm holding since like $1.25. So what do I care, right? You could argue fresh position up here because of the Kijun tap. Cypher's another one that's up a ton. Similar to Galaxy, it's just what do you want? What do you expect out of this trade? What more do you want? If you think this is going to 100, like, don't let me stop you. But I think we're getting from a hold to a sell based on technicals on anything that looks like this. Whereas Galaxy's like down here. This is deeper into the TA target territory. And this is like, what is this, like 6K ETH equivalent? You know, if ETH were to break out from a similar pattern. Where's URA? How's that doing? Uranium, same deal. Buy, sell, or hold. I think it's a sell based on TA, to be clear. But you know, this is what we're looking for on BTC. The Megaphone, right? BTC's like down here. ETH on the descending broadening wedge is like here, right? So from a chart pattern perspective, that's what I'm looking at. The other miners real quick. Cores, I'm still holding this. I don't think I sold, right? I don't think so. Still looks pre-breakout, or post-breakout retest, I guess you could say. It's not, there's a reason it's not like Cypher where it's up here, right? Like clearly Cypher and IREN and Bitfarms are there for different reasons than where Cores is, but from a setup perspective, this is a much better place to me than starting fresh positions on those others. CleanSpark, I don't hate it. The issue is if we turn on VPVR, there was a ton of activity at this level. Over here, just like a gross amount of activity. Back here, looks like a seismograph. So I don't know if it's going to need to fight through that first. Maybe you want to close above 20. I don't hate it. I mean, it shouldn't be hard to get above 20 if miners are trading the way miners are, right? More quickly, we gotta move here. We gotta move. I gotta get out of here at 3. BitDeer, buy, sell, or hold. Probably a hold leaning on sell as it gets above 26. Wolf, I got nothing for you on Wolf. Cypher we looked at. Hut looks okay, similar to Bitfarms. Looks fine. I like a hold on that one. Hive, I like a hold on that one. Just super, it's hard when it's this volatile to like find an entry that makes sense. Riot, probably just a hold. BTBT coming up to an interesting level. This is the ETH Treasury one, right? If this can get above, what is this? I don't know, 460? Like, it's possible. I would treat any of the treasury companies like leverage. So that's, again, me personal. Some people are going to disagree with that, but I wouldn't do anything with these until ETH looks bullish. I just don't care. Like, if you want to be bullish ETH, just buy some ETH, right? And these things are going to be disconnected from ETH up and down. So you certainly want to wait for momentum in the underlying. 460 though, very interesting level for that one. Marathon, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a diagonal here that you care about. If this can get above 22. The other problem is, like, if you're a miner and you haven't broken out yet, like the other miners have, what's your problem? You know, like, is it a business issue? Are you pivoting to AI, which I don't think Mara has yet? Maybe they will. Maybe there's going to be like a pity catch-up trade. Thanks, John. But I don't. It's just like, what's going on, Mara? Right? Like, what are you doing? If you're just a BTC company and you're not a shiny new object like the other ones, no one's gonna really care. Let's go over MSTR. MSTR daily, still in a down channel. Nothing to do. You know, looks like alts, right? Like, show me the bullish TA. I'll wait, right? I'll wait. It's got a death cross. Has anybody talked about that? Ask him about that on True North. They say, hey, guys, there's this moving average thing. You may have heard of it or not. It's called a death cross, and generally, you know, because it's about death, it's not a good thing. MSCR could pull up. It's just, do I buy death crosses as a rule? I do not. This could be the stone cold low, but I said that about. People were asking me like in the 320s, right? That could be the stone cold low, but ultimately, good things happen above the cloud. So we're not there yet on MSTR. BMNR 4 hour, also not quite my tempo, you know, just not quite my tempo. I like it at 60. We'll put an alert up there. Metaplanet also has an interesting little down channel it's in. It did bounce on a daily div, but again, if you're buying these here, you got to be pretty sure BTC is going to pull up. So that could be you, you know. You could be super sure BTC is going to make a new all-time high. And you could be a hero. You know, we could assume that the MNAV is going to re-expand, which is possible. I don't think it's going to get as high as it did before, but it's possible it gets up there again. This is Metaplanet against BTC. I don't know why that doesn't look right to me. Shouldn't that be like going crazy? Anyway, BTBT on 75% Neo Cloud. So, okay. Jordy, what does Jordy say? I don't know who that is. Sorry. Yeah, CleanSpark we looked at. Yeah, Microsoft, that one I actually bought with confidence, and I felt good about it 2 days ago. It doesn't look like much, but it is a bullish TK recross price above cloud. It is a inverted head and shoulders up here. Not for nothing, it's you know, Microsoft. It's not like some companies nobody heard of. Looks good. CrowdStrike looks good. CRWD. This is making. Is this the right one? I think so. Yeah, new all-time highs. Yeah, because it's got this cup and handle. Cup and handle here. Zscaler, another one. People are watching. Same deal. Nice little cup and handle action. Boop boop. Breaking up. I think that's an all-time high for Z. No, it's not an all-time high. But if crypto looked like this, oh man, we'd have a field day, right? There'd be so much to do. But crypto is like down here, you know, it's like, why? What are you doing? All right, we'll take a look. Biotech. Yeah, if you're patient, I mean, it's like the dream Josh chart where it's just literally death for years, consolidation for years. It's tightening on its coil. It's got the cloud on its side here. Eventually, you know, you don't want to see lower lows. This is like the Rivian chart. You absolutely do not want to see this below 12. But it's the same playbook. You know, it's like, now's the time, right? Now's the time. What was the other one? Someone was asking me about. Yeah, ArcG. So a lot of the biotech stuff, it's hard for me to like pick out one. CRISPR I mentioned, that's in ArcG. What is the CRSP? Yeah. Um, CRISPR looks fine. You know, you got to be patient with this stuff. It's not crypto, right? But if this can hold above 60, you're good. Again, it's a descending broadening wedge. We've been talking about those on everything else for a while now. But this chart looks really good. It may take some time, but it looks good. ArcG on the, not ArcW, the genomics ETF. This also looks good. Looks tradable, looks actionable. You're above a down channel. You're above the cloud. I looked at it this week. I hesitated. I just bought Microsoft instead. But, you know, I think it looks fine. I think it looks fine. Totally fine. Yeah, Backed we looked at. Backed, you know, I think you just hope this consolidates. What do you do here? DCA slowly, hope for range expansion. But you don't want to live back down here. If you're living sub 20 again, that is not where you want to be, right? Hold on, I got to go back to Nwanda. I don't have time to add them to the list, but we'll just go one at a time here quickly. DRPRY. Oh God, what is this? Yeah. If that has, yeah, I'm losing my voice. If that has volume that's tradable, I see why it popped up on a screener. Looks good. At a stab, a shot. Texas Pacific Land Corporation. Trying to get into the cloud there. Okay, I respect it. Respect it. I mean, these already look better than any alt chart we've looked at. DYN Therapeutics also. Looks good. At highs, you got a pattern. You had a breakdown already. This was one I had on a alert for today. X4, XFOR. It was up like 35% at some point today, but that's what the alert triggered. If you can find something within a sector, maybe it's a micro maybe it's a micro crap, maybe it's a micro cap, and it has TA to back it up, and the sector's moving. You know, that stuff's probably going to do better than some random piece of junk, right? Boar. Yeah. Boar Drilling Limited. Nice little cup and handle ditty down here. Can we say ditty anymore? Maybe I shouldn't. You know, like this little ditty. Whatever. Looks good. Cup and handle. Guts. Weakest of the list so far. Weakest of the list. Not for me. TMDX. Transmedics. Yeah, looks good. You know, again, consolidating, breaking highs, momentum above the cloud. No alt looks like this. Bitcoin doesn't look like this. ETH doesn't look like this. So if you need something to do, there are places for that. Most of it's in biotech right now. Also, can we say a moment of silence here for EVAV, which got delisted apparently today? I think they're direction. However you say that. They pulled EVAV from the shelf. Sad day. Great little ETF. A few more, then we'll get out of here. X4. Sir Sully, he's a big fan of X4. PDYN. Setting up, for sure. Not quite there, but like almost. It's trying. Why do I have a feeling Maybe I made fun of this chart last time. No, I think I'm in the right here. That's not for me. I don't know what that is, but that's not for me. EDU. This one? Yeah. You got, again, it's like death for months, consolidation, level. It's basically KWeb, CQQQ, all the Chinese stuff. This looks similar. I'm out of KWeb and CQQQ to be clear at this point, but maybe with Trump talking to Xi, they'll start to do well on some positive headline. I don't know. Open. Again, it's like the people with IREN. What more do you want in the near term, right? At least IREN is doing stuff and things, right? What is open? I don't know. I don't know the fundamentals behind open. I know that there's a guy who's very happy about it, talking about it a lot. People follow that guy. I don't know. It's not for me up here. Somebody asked me about this months ago, months. And I said, you know, I looked at it on the weekly and it was like back here or something. Maybe it was a year ago. And it has since reversed way above where they asked me, but you know, not before going down another 50%. I don't know. I have no idea. I got no opinion on that one. They want 25 yesterday. I guess. The problem is that, you know, as it goes higher, the multiples shrink. Teladoc. This is a Kathy special, isn't it? It's at a better place than it was. I'll give you that. You know, it's trying. It's trying. I don't love it as much as Rivian, PayPal, Zoom. What does Zoom look like? I mean, Zoom, look at Zoom. Look at this Chad chart. Is this not the chart of the stream or what? I'm not even kidding. High time frame, multi-shouldered, complex, inverted head and shoulders. The only problem with Zoom is every time I use Zoom, I hate Zoom. You know, nothing makes you more bullish on, or sorry, nothing makes you more bearish on Zoom than using Zoom. It's just a miserable experience. That looks good on the weekly, the 3-day, since IPO. That looks great. We talked about Microsoft earlier. I think it looks really, really good. I like it for highs. I got to hop. That's all I got for this one. Throw some tickers in the comments or the chat, and we will talk about those for Monday. But Zoom, just off the dome. What a great looking chart. That's all I got for